Pre-United States history. Around 1600 AD. Part 2. New York. 1626. Director General Peter Minuit purchases Manhattan from the Lenape for trade goods worth 60 guilders, $24. Massachusetts. 1628. John Endicott establishes Salem settlement. Massachusetts. 1629. Massachusetts Bay Colony is founded. The first tannery in America opens in Lynn. New Hampshire. 1629. Captain John Mason names the region New Hampshire after his home county in England. Massachusetts. 1630. John Winthrop arrives with Puritan settlers, declaring Massachusetts Bay Colony will be a city upon a hill. Boston is founded on Shawmut Peninsula. Delaware. 1631. Dutch established Zwannendale, Lewis, but the settlement was destroyed by Native Americans within a year. Maryland. 1631. Early claims. English trader William Claiborne established a trading post on Kent Island, challenging later Maryland claims. Maryland. 1632. Cecil Calvert, 2nd Baron Baltimore, received a charter from King Charles I, naming Maryland after Queen Henrietta Maria. Maryland. Rhode Island. 1632. Pequot defeated the Narragansett. Connecticut. 1633. The Dutch built a fortified trading post called the House of Hope, also known as Fort Hoop, near present-day Hartford to protect their trade from the Pequots and English colonists. That same year, English settlers from Plymouth Colony established a trading post at Windsor. Rhode Island. 1633. Pequot nearly wiped out by smallpox. Maryland. Before 1634. Native American inhabitants. The region was home to Algonquian tribes like the Piscataway, Nanticoke, and Powhatan, as well as Iroquoian-speaking Susquehannocks and Siouan tribes. Wisconsin. Pre-1634. Oneota people dominate. Later tribes include Ho-Chunk, Menominee, and Ojibwe. Connecticut. 1634. Wethersfield was founded by colonists from Massachusetts, becoming Connecticut's first permanent English settlement. Additional English settlers arrived in Windsor. Maryland. 1634. The Ark and Dove ships arrived with settlers led by Leonard Calvert. They founded St. Mary's City, the first capital, and purchased land from the Yakamaco tribe. Massachusetts. 1634. Boston Common becomes America's first public park. Wisconsin. 1634. French explorer Jean Nicolet lands at Green Bay, initiating contact with Ho-Chunk and Menominee. Connecticut. 1635. Fort Saybrook was established at the mouth of the Connecticut River by Lyon Gardiner under the authority of the Saybrook Colony, named for its Puritan investors Lord Say and Lord Brooke. A group from Dorchester, Massachusetts, joined the Windsor settlement. The first branding law in the colonies was enacted, requiring livestock owners to mark their cattle, sheep, and swine. Massachusetts. 1635. Boston Latin School, the first American public secondary school, is established. Connecticut. 1636. Reverend Thomas Hooker led about 100 followers from Newtown, Cambridge, Massachusetts, to found Hartford. Hooker, called the Father of Connecticut, was a prominent Puritan minister who advocated for expanded voting rights. Springfield was established, but later defected to Massachusetts in 1640. Massachusetts. 1636. Harvard College is founded in Newtown, later Cambridge. Springfield is founded by William Pynchon. Rhode Island. 1636. Puritan minister Roger Williams, banished from Massachusetts Bay Colony for his radical views on religious freedom and separation of church and state, founded Providence on land purchased from the Narragansett tribe. Williams declared the settlement a place of religious freedom, stating it would be a shelter for persons distressed of conscience. Connecticut, 1637. The Pequot War erupted, the first major armed conflict between Native Americans and European settlers in New England. Tensions had been building over control of trade in the Connecticut River Valley. On May 1st, Connecticut colony declared war on the Pequots following a raid on Wethersfield. The colonies pooled their militia under Captain John Mason of Windsor. The war climaxed with the Mystic Massacre, where about 300 Pequot men, women, and children were burned alive in their village. By war's end, the Pequot tribe was nearly annihilated, with only about 200 survivors from an original population of 3,000. Massachusetts, 1637, and Hutchinson is banished for religious dissent. Connecticut, 1638. The Treaty of Hartford was signed, the first Indian treaty in the colonies, which banned the Pequot name and dispersed survivors among other tribes. The New Haven colony was established by John Davenport and Theophilus Eden, who sought stricter Puritan standards than Massachusetts. The colony was governed by the Fundamental Agreement, which restricted voting to church members. Delaware, 1638. Swedish colonists led by Peter Minuit founded Fort Christina, Wilmington, the first permanent European settlement. Pennsylvania, 1638. Swedes founded New Sweden, including parts of PA, with its capital at Fort Christina, Delaware. Rhode Island, 1638, and Hutchinson, another religious dissenter banished from Massachusetts, along with William Coddington, John Clark, and others, established Portsmouth on Aquidneck Island after consulting with Williams. Connecticut, 1639. The Fundamental Orders of Connecticut were adopted on January 14 by freemen from Hartford, Wethersfield, and Windsor. Inspired by Thomas Hooker's sermon about government based on the free consent of the people, this document is considered by many as the first written constitution in Western history, earning Connecticut its nickname as the Constitution State. John Haynes was elected as Connecticut's first governor. The Henry Whitfield House was built in Guilford, now the oldest house in Connecticut and the oldest stone house in New England. Massachusetts, 1639. First American printing press established in Cambridge by Stephen Day. First post office opens in Richard Fairbanks' Boston Tavern. Rhode Island, 1639. Disagreements among Portsmouth's founders led William Coddington and 8 families to leave and found Newport at the southern end of Aquidneck Island. Connecticut, 1640. East Haven became home to Connecticut's first iron works. Massachusetts, 1641. Massachusetts becomes first colony to legally recognize slavery. New Hampshire, 1642. Darby Field becomes the first European to climb Mount Washington, defying Abenaki warnings of evil spirits. Rhode Island, 1642. Religious dissident Samuel Gorton purchased Indian lands at Shawomet, later Warwick, precipitating conflicts with Massachusetts Bay Colony. Connecticut, 1643. Connecticut joined the New England Confederation with Massachusetts, Plymouth, and New Haven colonies for mutual defense. Connecticut, 1644. The Saybrook colony merged with the Connecticut colony. Rhode Island, 1644. Providence, Portsmouth, and Newport united for common independence as the colony of Rhode Island and Providence plantations. Roger Williams secured a parliamentary charter from England that sought to join the communities under one government. Connecticut, 1646. New London was founded by John Winthrop, Jr. Massachusetts, 1647. Massachusetts passes first compulsory education law in American colonies. Rhode Island, 1647. The settlements adopted a loose confederacy after Coddington initially blocked unification. Maryland, 1649. The Toleration Act passed, granting religious freedom to Christians, a pioneering step in North America. Maryland. 1640s. Conflicts with Claiborne and Puritan rebels led to temporary overthrow of Calvert rule, the plundering time.